Today we're in this one because this is a great possible vehicle for a long commute to work. There's a lot on the hybrid actually that doesn't come standard on the regular Sonata as well, or isn't even available on the regular Sonata, so that's kind of interesting too. For example, rear window sunshades, which we actually do have with us here today, so that's pretty cool. You also get America's best warranty, being 5 years, 60,000 mile bumper to bumper, 10 years, 100,000 miles on the powertrain. You also get 3 years or 36,000 miles of complimentary maintenance. That's going to save you some money there as well. So ultimately in this video, we will be testing out and going over everything about this one, from acceleration to braking, steering feel, ride quality, sound system, exhaust clip, all that fun stuff. So having said all of that, what do you guys say? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, let's start with pricing. And so there's essentially two different trim levels for the 2025 Sonata Hybrid. You got the SEL starting at $31,150. Then there's the Limited, which is the one we have today, starting at $37,600. But regardless of the trim level that you go with, the power plant is going to be the same. Powering the beast is a 2-liter Atkinson cycle inline 4-cylinder with an electric motor, putting out a combined 192 horsepower at 6,000 RPM, 151 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 60, approximately 8.1 seconds. That power is going to be sent to the front wheels through a 6-speed automatic with paddle shifters, and in terms of the MPGs, that's going to come in at 44 in the city, 51 on the highway, taking regular unleaded fuel. But here's the best part, with a max range of up to 686 miles. And I figured I'd bring up the range because there's so many electric cars now and their max range is like 340. Well, this thing doubles that, so that is absolutely crazy. But anyways, before we do any kind of fun paddle shifter or acceleration test here in this Sonata Hybrid, I did want to mention to you guys the drive modes. There's actually a silver drive mode toggle switch, kind of located just to the left of the cup holders there. That's what I'm going to say. But drive modes will include custom, sport, eco, and smart, adjusting things like the shift points, the throttle response, and the steering sensitivity. So now that I got all of that out of the way, what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and find a straightaway. Let's put the paddle shifters here to the test first, and let's see how quickly they're going to react for us here. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. They're actually not bad. They're okay. Not the quickest reactive paddle shifters, but yeah, they got the job done. So I actually don't have an issue with that. Now, probably if I shifted at a lower RPM range, it probably would have had a little bit of delay. But what I've found throughout all of my paddle shifter tests is if you take it up a little bit higher, they're actually pretty decent. So I actually don't have any issues with those paddle shifters whatsoever. As we're driving over the snow, this is fun. Anyways, now that we have gotten that out of the way, what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and find one more straightaway. Let's now give back full control to the Sonata Hybrid, and yeah, let's see how quickly we can get this one here up to speed. Here's our straightaway in 3, 2, merging onto the highway, go! Smooth. Very smooth. All right, that was kind of interesting. It's a different acceleration. I really liked it, actually. It's very luxury-like, I'll just put it that way. So there wasn't any kind of delay on the initial, you know, get up and go. And yeah, that was just different. It was a very smooth, luxury-like acceleration. So I'm kind of digging it. That was nice. So anyways, to go along with that acceleration, as always, braking is equally important. So power-assisted ventilated 4-wheel disc brakes will come standard, and you do get regenerative braking with that as well, of course, with this being a hybrid. As far as the braking feel goes, it's okay. It is a little bit different. It's a little bit different of a braking feel than I'm used to, and quite honestly, I'm at a loss of words for how to describe it, just because it's a little bit different, but it's okay. It's something that I am sure I would probably get used to if I were to get a Sonata Hybrid. Just know that it's not going to be the same braking feel as your typical Sonata. I'll just put it that way. But anyways, then touching on suspension and handling. Up front, you're going to get a McPherson strut front suspension. In the back, independent multi-link rear suspension. As far as ride quality goes, it's actually been perfectly fine in my short little test drive here today. I definitely don't have any issues with this thing absorbing Pennsylvania's road imperfections. As far as steering feel goes, that is going to differ dependent upon the drive mode that you put it in. So if I were to put it back in that sport driving mode, it is a much heavier feel to the steering, instantly pointing you in the direction that you want to go. But the cool thing about Hyundai is they offer something called My Drive. I just put it back in there. That really allows you to tailor the settings to your own personal liking. So if I wanted a heavier steering feel without that instant acceleration of that sport driving mode, I could do that via My Drive. So that is what I have done before with other Hyundais, and I absolutely love that because, yeah, it's something for everybody. I'll just put it that way. And I like the heavier steering feel personally, but I don't necessarily need the instant acceleration, especially if you're driving a hybrid. But as far as cabin noise goes, that's been brilliant. I'm going only like, what, 20 miles per hour right now. So of course it's gonna be super quiet right now, but I will say, the Sonata Hybrid does give you an acoustic laminated front windshield. That's something that doesn't always come standard. You're also going to get acoustic laminated front door glass for both trim levels. So that's typically a luxury feature. And if it is on like a Mercedes-Benz or BMW, a lot of times it's even optional. So the fact that it comes standard on the Sonata Hybrid, that is pretty darn cool because that is going to give you the most serene cabin possible out there. So gotta love that. Touching our rear visibility, because of the shape of the Sonata, you're not going to have any issues with looking out your rear view mirror there. But in addition to that, touching on forward visibility, rain sensing windshield wipers do come standard on the Sonata Hybrid. So you gotta love that. Whenever this thing detects any kind of mist or rainfall, it's going to automatically turn on the windshield wipers for you there. And in addition to that, I'm actually looking at a head-up display. It is pretty darn bright as well. If I were to pull up my sunglasses here, I could actually see it through my sunglasses too, which is pretty cool. But it is super bright. It gives you your speed limit recognition, and safety features. I got a little pedestrian warning sign up there right now too. So that is pretty darn cool, and that is right in my line of vision. Again, assisting with forward visibility. But that pretty much rounds out the performance segment of this review, you guys. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the exterior of our brand new 2025 Hyundai Sonata Hybrid. All right, so here she is, you guys, the new 2025 Hyundai Sonata Hybrid, finished in transmission blue. Believe it or not, is the exterior color name. It's an interesting name. Never heard an exterior color name named after a part of the car, so that's kind of interesting. But anyways, let's go ahead and start up front. You're going to find a black mesh front grille that does come standard across the board. LED headlights to the sides with LED daytime running lights. Going to get the automatic feature with those. You're also going to get automatic high beams. So if you have your high beams on at night and it senses the vehicle coming in the opposite direction, it's going to automatically dim them back to low beams. And when that vehicle is gone, it's going to automatically bounce it back up to high beams for you there. So very convenient there. You also have the LED light bar that goes all the way across the front hood there to the bottom of the hood there. So that's a pretty cool look as well. It's kind of unique. It looks super cool at night. In case you're wondering where the headlights are, they are located right there. And then to the corners there, you're going to find front air curtains helping direct air around the wheel and tire combination. But that pretty much rounds out the front end of the Sonata. Let's now go ahead and swing around to the side. All right, so now since we are around to the side of the Sonata, one thing I kind of thought was a little bit interesting of a design element is the chrome window surrounds. They don't go fully around all of the windows. So you got this chrome belt line molding, and it just kind of continues up to the C-pillar there, and then it stops, and then you have this matte black that continues up on the upper window trim, which is kind of interesting. I think they probably would have looked a little bit better if that was continued with the chrome look, but anyways, that's how they did it. As far as the door handles go, it's a pretty cool look. It's a body colored satin chrome door handle combination there. I like that. Gloss black side skirts do come standard for both trim levels as well. Taking a look at the front fenders there, because that's a unique design element too. You get LED integrated turn signals for the limited trim level, so that's kind of a JDM thing from back in the day, so I'm a big fan of that personally. Taking a look at the side mirrors, they are body colored power adjustable side mirrors. They will be heated as well for super cold days in PA, obviously like today with the snow in the background. Then taking a look down at the wheel setup, it is going to be the same for both trim levels for the Sonata Hybrid. You're going to get 17-inch Eco Spoke design alloy wheels, which of course is what you guys are looking at. But that pretty much rounds out the side profile. Let's now go ahead and swing around to the back. All right, climbing up on the snow hill for you guys here, all the way to the top, you will find a shark fin antenna. Just below that, you kind of have an integrated rear spoiler-ish with a gloss black look on the upper portion of that rear trunk. You guys probably see that. You have LED taillights. They do come standard, of course. A little bit of LED license plate lighting. I always like to mention that when I see it. I think that's a pretty cool look at night too. And then just below it all, there is a single exhaust outlet. It is tucked away underneath on the passenger side in typical hybrid fashion. So having said that, we're going to give this a shot. As always, here is that exhaust clip. All right, Alright, so now since we are around to the back of the Sonata Hybrid, when it comes to opening that trunk, there is a button on the key fob. There is a gloss black button on the trunk itself then as well. But the cool thing is it is actually a power trunk. So it is just going to automatically open up for you, and then there's a button on the trunk to actually close it then as well, which is kind of cool. You don't see that often on sedans, but anyways, non-luxury sedans, I'll put it that way. Once opened up, cargo capacity comes in at 15.6 cubic feet. If that was not enough space, there is a 60-40 split for quite a bit of extra space then if you needed it. There is some cargo lighting back there, of course, and then if you were to lift up underneath of that cargo floor, you will actually find a good bit of in-floor storage, like a substantial amount of in-floor storage, especially for a sedan. So with the tire inflator kit, by the way. But then let's go ahead and make our way up to the rear legroom. That comes in at 34.8 inches. For reference, I'm an even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I had in the back there. USB charging ports actually do come standard on the Sonata Hybrid for both trim levels. You gotta love that. There's a rear center armrest with cup holders also coming standard, but the coolest thing for the rear passengers, in my personal opinion at least, is the rear window sunshades. That comes on the limited trim level that we have today, and that's something that's so rare on sedans right now. And that's something that's not even available on the regular Sonata, but it is available on the Sonata Hybrid, and I don't believe it's available on the Accord Hybrid either. So that's kind of cool. If you were looking for that, that's how you get it. But so now let's go ahead and make our way up to the front seats. 8-way power driver's seat with power lumbar coming standard. You get heated front seats as well. Cloth seating is going to come with the SEL, but then you got leather seats for the limited like we have today. Power adjustable passenger seat is going to come standard, believe it or not. You gotta love that. And the ventilated front seats for the limited trim level as well. Overall, as far as seat comfort goes, it was okay. Not the very most comfortable seats, a little bit on the stiff side of things, but it's not bad. It certainly gets the job done. I didn't have any issues overall. But now let's go ahead and take a look at the steering wheel. It is tilt and telescoping. It is leather wrapped. That does come standard for both trim levels. You gotta like that. And heated steering wheel for the limited trim level that we have today, which I personally appreciate because again, it is 19 degrees out right now, so that's kind of cold. So now let's go ahead and make our way to the startup. Let me show you guys this egg-shaped key real quick, which is kind of the Hyundai logo, kind of integrated into the middle of it there. But you got lock, unlock, and that circular button that says hold. That is of course your remote start, which by the way comes standard. Also though, a Hyundai digital key also comes standard, so that is pretty stinking cool. You hold that up to the door handle, lock and unlock, and then put it on the wireless phone charger to actually go ahead and start the car. So you technically don't need the key if you just wanted to do that. It's an app that you download on your phone. Smart Park is going to come in the limited. That's what I'm probably showing you guys through the B-roll right now, and I love that feature. So if somebody pulls too close to you and you want to just pull it out to get in, that's what that is for, and it's definitely convenient. But it is all keyless entry though with a push button start. So all I'm going to do here is simply put my foot on the brake and press that engine start button located just by the driver's right knee. And so once started up, there are two different gauge clusters. You got analog gauges with a 4.2-inch screen for the SEL, but then 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster for our limited that we have with us here today. And the cool thing about the digital gauge cluster is that when you change the drive mode, the look of it is going to change as well. So if I were to put it in sport driving mode, it's going to give me a bunch of red and black hues essentially. If I were to put it in my drive, that's personally my favorite look because you have a blue gauge needle on the left and you have a yellow gauge needle on the right. So I love the fact that they don't match there. That's actually pretty cool to me, so I'm definitely a fan of that. And then the eco mode is going to give you some green hues of course, but overall the gauges do change for each individual driving mode, which I think is pretty sticking cool. So you don't see that often. But of course your speedometer is on your left, tachometer is going to be on your right. It gives you how many miles you have left until you hit empty. It gives you your outside temperature, so pretty much everything you could possibly want on a gauge cluster overall. But let's go ahead now and make our way to overall interior quality. Panoramic sunroof is going to come on the limited. LED interior lighting, limited. 64 colors of ambient lighting, you guessed it, limited trim level as well. You're going to find an auto dimming rear view mirror with that limited as well. Dual zone climate control is going to come standard for both trim levels. You get a wireless phone charger as well for both trim levels yet again. I will say the ambient lighting looks pretty stinking cool. I like this kind of silver pattern found just above the passenger side glove box. I think that looks good as well. I like the climate control adjustments here, that they're finished in silver and not just a matte black plastic. That's also in the back as well. So That's a nice little added touch, a little extra attention to detail there. Just beside the wireless phone charger, you got a little bit of rubberized storage there. Behind that is your dual cup holders, of course. Then within the center armrest, there's a decent amount of storage in there. I don't have any issues with that. So overall, I think the interior quality is actually pretty darn nice. I like these Bose speakers as well. So we'll get more into the sound system. We'll test that out here in a little bit. But let's actually now go ahead and move on to the infotainment screen, because this is equally impressive. So to match the 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster, you also have a 12.3-inch color touchscreen display. But yes, in this case, that screen is going to come on both trim levels. So you do get Bluetooth and audio streaming, and get Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. You get a factory navigation system if you go with the limited trim level. You also have a voice memo system, which you can record your voice and then play it back at a later date if you didn't want to forget something. You have weather information up there as well, which is pretty nice. And of course, you also have your radio information. So when it comes to the sound systems, there are 2 of them. 6 speakers is going to come with that SEL hybrid trim, but then there is a 12 speaker Bose sound system, and that is the one that we have with us in our limited. That comes standard on the limited. So let's go ahead and turn on the radio. Let's see what we got playing today, and let's test out the clarity of this one. There's nothing wrong with that. Plenty of bass, plenty of clarity for sure. And Bose has been around for, I feel like, forever at this point. I had a Bose sound system in my G35 coupe back in the day. It never failed me, so very reputable company there, so no issues whatsoever with that. But last thing I wanted to mention to you guys on that infotainment screen, of course, is when you do put the Sonata Hybrid in reverse, you will find a rear view camera coming standard across the board. The surround view monitor there to the right, that is going to come on the limited trim level only. And of course, you're going to have that little sound that's going to signify that you're in reverse as well, because this is a hybrid after all, so you don't go hitting anybody. So anyways, that as always is going to lead us into safety. And so let me start by saying IIHS top safety picks. That's a heck of a start right there. Front side curtain airbags do come standard. You got a driver's knee airbag up front as well. In the back, you're going to have latch, aka lower anchors with tethers for children for the rear car seats, rear child door locks, tire pressure monitoring system, but also coming standard. Forward collision avoidance assist with pedestrian and cyclist detection, lane keep assist, lane following assist, driver attention warning system, adaptive cruise control with stop and go, which is an amazing system on any Hyundai vehicle. You got rear occupant alert, and then also a blind spot monitoring system with rear cross traffic alert. So overall, when it comes to my final thoughts here of the Sonata Hybrid, this is incredible MPGs and incredible range as well. I have to mention the range because that is a absolutely very impressive number there. Excellent tech as well. I love the infotainment screen. I love the digital gauge cluster that adjusts dependent upon the drive mode. Ambient lighting looks cool. So overall, that's done very well. You do get America's best warranty, so it's a heck of a value for that reason as well. You can't beat 10 years, 100,000 miles on the powertrain here, at least here in the US. The other thing I think is really nice that the competition doesn't offer is the rear window sunshades. I personally love that, because if you have kids in the back at least, and maybe you're sitting in a parking lot eating food or something, you don't want the sun blinding them, so they got the rear window sunshades. I think it's pretty stinking cool. The only thing that's a little bit different, and I don't even know if it's really a negative, is the braking feel is a bit different. So I'm just not used to it. I think I probably would get used to it pretty darn easily, so that's probably something that would not prevent me from getting this vehicle, but it is something I just wanted to mention. But anyways, let me know what you guys think of this Sonata Hybrid in the comments section below. That's about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to follow me on social media, stuff somewhere on the screen. Be sure to hit the subscribe and the bell notification button.